I'll do it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. See how crisp that was?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. See, look, no.
I didn't even join in.
Alright.
This is us, another episode, HUI with HOKA, episode 24, Saturday, 12th of October. Beautiful out here in Kirikiriroa. We've got Adapt Media covering us, as per usual. Mr. Timothy Stevens behind the camera, joining us. And we got the founders and head coaches of Riverside BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Kirikiriroa, Hamilton, New Zealand, Marc and Paris. Hold on. You can introduce yourself in a minute. So, and guess what? We talk about Jiu-Jitsu today. Not a surprise, I know. Riverside BJJ. We also got a bit of merch here in the back. If you're keen for a hoodie or for a t-shirt, dive into it on the website. But yeah, we're going to talk about some gym culture today, training approaches, business versus passion, because, owning and running a gym comes with bills and responsibilities and more. But I'm going to pass on the Rakau to you guys. Full first and last name and a bit of history, a bit of context, maybe some competition stuff, maybe your backgrounds, whatever you want. Take it away. Off you go.
Alright, so Chop is dying to say hi, I'm Chop, this is Paris. We did a recent video with it, but yeah. Anyway, my name is Paris Tattersall. I've been teaching for about 5 years, 6 years. I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for close to 14 now. Started in the UK, moved to New Zealand 4 years ago. Received my black belt here under John Wills. And yeah, I've been pretty active competitor from all through my career, but from purple belt to around black belt, it's become harder and harder and harder to consistently find matches. Mostly because my weight keeps getting higher and higher and higher. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm not Paris Tattersall. I'm Marc Lelievre. Everyone calls me Chop though, so it's weird. I introduce myself as like Marc to people, and then I have to go, by the way, you'll never hear me get called that again. So yeah, so everyone calls me Chop. I'm a high school teacher. I've been teaching since I was like 22. So I've got like 13 years of teaching experience. Been doing jiu-jitsu for a little bit longer than that. Been coaching probably for close to 10 years in jiu-jitsu. Black belt under John Will as well. Received that like 3 or 4 years ago. Competition. I just won a stealth grappling absolute division a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Got all subs in that, so I was pretty happy. Earlier on in the year I competed in NZ Grappler. Won my under 98 kilo division. That was for Oceanias, I think, and then ended up third in the absolute there. And then last year I think I won like 3 absolutes, including the NZ Grappler absolute, and a few divisions along the way as well. I had a pretty good year last year. It was pretty busy. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if there's anything more else.
That is more than enough.
Used to fight MMA, I guess.
Yes, you used to be the champ.
Yeah,
you used to be the Shuriken champ.
An amateur champ. Let's just make that. I want a full credit. I want to say amateur champion. Yeah, that's about it.
How about your NZMMAF career?
Yeah, again amateur. I went to the Worlds for NZ.
Went to the Worlds.
So I went to the Worlds for NZ MMAF as well in 2016. Unfortunately, couldn't go in 2017. I had a back issue, which has just plagued me since then, pretty much. Yeah.
And to do it full circle, Timothy has started training at Riverside BJJ as well, and is currently aspiring to get his blue belt. How about your first couple of weeks training now?
Good. Yeah, it was exactly what I was looking for in terms of the new facility. After we trained at Rogue Training Centre in Whakatane, I knew I wanted to train somewhere that was very jiu-jitsu focused, smaller room, and just new faces, I think, as well.
Yeah.
It's a different change. And everyone there is very accommodating, patient.
Yeah.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I think like our main thing for Riverside is we want people to feel welcome, and we want them to feel like part of the community, belong there. Like it's really, really hard the larger places get or the more diverse they get to maintain like a good culture, and we're quite lucky that we just have jiu-jitsu to focus on really. So like,
well, less luck and more, that's the main thing
it's the design. Yeah, it's
wrestling,
fall into it.
Yeah,
a little bit of
we do wrestling, like so we have wrestling in our program as well, but like that's designed to be better at jiu-jitsu. So like we don't do Olympic wrestling or American freestyle as such, but like we take what works and we for like to make our people better at jiu-jitsu.
Develop a baseline competency for that skill.
Yeah.
And then
And I guess what connects us all then is the Will Machado lineage.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's a different gym, or you joined recently, which is pretty cool. However, it is Saturday, and usually on a Saturday at 10 a.m. there's open mat. So sorry boys for taking you away from your rituals and habits on the weekend, but it's for a bigger purpose.
It's alright, like we'll allow one this time.
I can deal with it.
I hope you're not too sour about it.
Nah, it's fine.
Anywho, what I wanted to throw out here firstly is that when I started early onwards with the podcast, and it was just like online recording, I was calling people, and like very crappy everything. Chuck was like, man, you were very surprised about like that. I kept going. And then you said, to what episode did I need to get to?
I think it was 20 or 21 or something, I think.
And then you're at the top. Can you like summarize that, please?
Yeah, so I was watching like a Chris, I think it was Chris Willicks and Andrew Hermosi, and they were having a yarn, and then they were just talking about how easy it is to be successful. So if you don't know who they are, like just Google them, it's probably the quickest. Like Alex Hermosi like made a bunch of money making and creating and like then profiteering and selling his gyms, and then selling marketing for gyms, and then Chris Willicks just has his podcast, I guess, Chris Williamson, and he's got that new tonic drink as well. So like, he's pretty they're pretty famous, but they were just talking about how easy it is to be successful, and it's just you just need to keep going. And they were talking about podcasts, and I think it was some crazy stat of like by the time if you manage to do 21 podcasts, you're automatically in the top 0.1% or 0.01% of podcasts in the world, because most stop after, I think it was like below 5. So if you manage to make it there, like
you're 24.
Yeah. So
when I prepared this podcast, I was like, I need to bring this up because that was an inspiration for me, like to have like a number to work towards to, and then now having you on past that point.
Yeah, it's good, man. Top 0.01% or whatever it is. Yeah, just make up stats anyway. Like,
I think you're right. It's something like less than 5% make it to episode 10, and then out of the people who do that, less than 5%, and it's you're right. It's got to be less than 1%.
So you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. You just got to keep doing it. Like I think that's probably
consistency over time.
Is that probably the first like key to success that we're giving away here today? Is like you just gotta keep going no matter what you.
That's the hardest part about jiu-jitsu. I think is just showing up. Like you get about 10 million different other people doing different things and excuses. If you can just do 2 days a week, like I think you're generally going to be better long term than doing like 5 days a week for like half the time.
Well, let's talk about starting something new, because Riverside BJJ has not been around the block for like decades.
No.
It's a fairly new establishment, and opening your very own BJJ gym, dealing with the business side of things, like I said in the beginning, maybe council consents, paying bills, and keeping everyone happy. Any feelings, thoughts, and emotions when it comes to the humble beginnings and maybe the demographics on where you're now?
I feel pretty like I came in. It was kind of easier for me because initially I was training and teaching at core, and Carlo and the team there provided a lot of opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So I was in a pretty good position, but then Chop and Dan were really the ones that took the gamble, took the risk to open up a gym. By the time I moved across, they kind of had proof of concept. Yeah. So it was much easier for me to make that move than perhaps it was for them. Yeah.
So we kind of we set up a gym. We weren't really too sure like if we're just going to rent a space like off someone else in like a back room or something like that, and then the properties that are available were just really just non-existent. So no one had a spare back room, or there was like. Yeah, again, like zoning was the major one that we run into. Would either have to go, hey, listen, we're interested in your facility. Oh, we're looking for it for a commercial purpose. And they're like, no, thank you. See you later. The property market was running super hot. I think that was during 2022. So like, it was just, everything was just selling. So we didn't really have a lot of choice. So we kind of just had to jump the gun and go straight into a commercial property. And typically when you do that, you're the sole occupant, the price is like really high. So some guy, Keith. He gave us a 1 year deal. He's like, I'll just let you in for 1 year, see how it goes. And so we jumped in for a year. Panicked for the first 3 months. Like it was a bit like, oh god, where are we getting to? And then we had a bunch of people join in the new year. So we opened like end of October, start of November of 2022. And then the first 3 months was pretty like, what have I done? But in the start of I think it was January, we had a bunch of people move in, which was good. A few of our friends actually, this is probably the most important point. We had a lot of our really close friends pay for a year up front. So that like gave us a big
wow,
weight up our back. So I think we probably had like 8 to 10 who.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Paris is one of them actually. Paris is one. Yeah, so we had 8 to 10 people just go, here's a year's membership up front. Sweet, which meant that we had just reserves in case anything panicked or went wrong. And eventually, I think by about January, we were making enough money to start paying back our original capital, which was good. Yeah. And then we kind of got to a point recently this year where we could bring a couple other people on board, start to pay them to coach kids as well. So we've got Cameron Cortier. If you don't know Cam, he runs Elemental Coaching. So he does a lot of ice bath, sauna, breathwork stuff. He's going to move into our new facility as well, so we can talk about that in a little bit later on. I'll segue.
Thank you.
But he's come on board for like coaching our kids class, which is really good. And he's really good at jiu-jitsu. He's like wrestled all the way through his high school, and like he's a monster. Fought MMA, so he's got a ridiculous amount of MMA fights. Yeah, in general, and he was a pro boxer at one point as well. So he's got a wealth in the martial arts community, and he's just like a really positive influence to have around. Like he's I don't know if you don't follow him, I think you should. He's a really positive set of influence, and it's cool to see. I knew him when he was 15, so I was studying for my teaching. And I know him when he was a little tiny teenager, and now he's he's not very tall still, but he's a brick shit house. So,
How old is Cam?
He would be 5, maybe just be 30, I think, coming on 30 now. Yeah, so I've known him since I was 15. Yeah, I actually did a teaching practicum at Ham Boys when he was a student at Ham Boys. It was quite funny. It's quite cool. Yeah. So we got him on to kids. So we're at the point now where we're kind of ready for expansion, and that's kind of when Paris jumped on board last year. We're kind of looking at expanding then, and just again, it didn't quite work out then.
No, it was the wrong time for the market, for your tenancy as well. There was a bunch of stuff we kind of decided that we weren't utilising all the mat space and potential of the area we're in. So at that point in time, we didn't have kids, we didn't have mornings, we didn't have noons.
Yeah.
So the main thing was to try and start pushing into those areas where easy gains could be made, and then it's now at the point where that's kind of facilitated us being able to make this move with more confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
When you started gym from scratch, you gravitated from a different space, you and just to give a bit of context, Dan Vandenberg is also a black belt under Will Machado. It's just evolution, you might look for your own piece of, where you can bring your own approaches and your own philosophy, because over time that evolves, that maybe changes. But when you then open up your own gym, and in that case it was focused on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, this is bringing us together today. There's usually a bit of culture that you have to develop over time, and that just, to give an example here would be, I come from a very traditional background where you have to bow on and off the mat. No drinking throughout practice at all. And
I've not heard that one before.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Yeah. Don't look me directly in the eye either.
However, just giving a few little examples, or you always have to wear, in Japanese is wabaki. You have to wear your genitals when you step off, religiously. There's no stepping off with that. Any do's and don'ts that you guys either incorporated or were trying to diminish and take away from the space that you wanted to create, or the environment that you are trying to establish?
I think for me, my general philosophy, I used to have a very traditional look at martial arts in regards to that, no, very much it's about respect, it's about blah blah blah, and I think just in general my understanding of what respect is and relationships are in general helped me kind of develop my philosophy a little bit more. So for me, the main thing that I just want is adherence. I just want people to show up. And then in general, the main thing that I can do is if I can provide them novelty, so generally new training situations, or make sure I enhance what they're already doing, like, and like make it fun. Like if you can do those two things, like make it new for people, or at least if it's old skills that they're relearning, like you're providing them with a new context or a new look, and it's fun for people, like over time the rest will kind of take care of itself. Like I think that's a big one for me, is like if you can get people showing up and then them showing up consistently and enjoying themselves in the space, like those are going to lead to really, really positive things overall. I think the other one that we kind of me and Dan in particular were quite big on this, was like, which is like goes against most traditional martial arts, is like if you show up late, like just get on the mat. I know there's a very big thing in martial arts being like you get rid of your entire life outside of this place where you're here for like the 1 hour a week. Get rid of all of that, blah 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 blah. And I think that's really good for people to come into the space and be freed from their life, like to go, actually this is just the thing. But I don't really see the point in being like, oh, you're 2 minutes late, now you have to sit on the sideline for 58 minutes. Like people have to give up time with their kids, wives, jobs, like gardening, like whatever they have to do around the house. Like so for me, like it's really quite rude or disrespectful to that person to be like, no, you need to be here on time. What happens if his tire like popped out, you know? Like so if Tim's got kids and he can't make it until say 5:45, I'd still rather have him on the mat for that next 75 minutes than be like, actually don't show up at all. Like I think that's a bit silly in terms of old school things. Like obviously you don't just want people to roll up and be late, and I think everyone actually quite, because of that rule, generally respects it. Like they don't take the piss too much. Yeah. So like for me that's a big one. Just in terms of gym culture, was appreciating what people do outside of our building to give up their time to come in and spend time with us. To
give you a bit of feedback as well, when we talked about the idea of him joining Riverside BJJ, because we had this a wee while ago, we recorded a podcast out in Whakatane at Road Gym with our friend Jerry Stensness. He was like, man, I'm really feeling like this urge now, to pursue something. I want to get my blue belt. So I was like, okay, we looked into options, what can he do? And like, long story short, we had this conversation over the phone, and he sent me a voicemail saying, man, this is exactly what I was looking for, the culture, everything that we just touched base on.
That's nice to hear.
Just, credit where credit is due. And you mentioned the right things also around, he's got 2 kids, he's busy, he's running his own business. Recently, he was in employment too, like contracting and whatnot. There's life outside of this, but when you're there, even though you're 13 minutes late, try to focus, you receive what you put out in the world. So I feel like this is really cool to tell you guys why we're in the same room,
that's good. Thank you.
It's good. Luca and Theo flourishing in there as well.
Oh, they like it. Oh, good. Yeah. Because you get to see a lot more of Cam than what we probably do with it.
That's
how he works with the kids,
it's been a huge game changer. It's not just for jiu-jitsu for me, but even just with my bonding time with the boys. Like 2 hours minimum a week rolling and playing with them. In the sport, and with other guys, and I can sit back. You got this. Luca needs that. The lollies, the little candy at the end, like these little things. They can sit there. They can watch everyone else do it. Watching the adults doing it right after. So it's a good thing for them. They really like that smaller space.
Cam brings such a good vibe to the kids' classes. Like just because he introduced the mat values, which I really really like. Because when I was taking them, it was like, I don't know. I just approached it like, we're here to do jiu-jitsu. We're going to do jiu-jitsu. Done.
The 6-year-old.
It's like, probably not the best way to approach it. It's like, why aren't you behaving? Oh yeah, you're a child. But yeah, so like when he came on, he introduced the mat values, like respectful, like being respectful, bowing, and all this sort of stuff. And although the traditional aspect might not be something that you want to carry over too much to the adults class, as long as everyone there is a functional, respectful human being, it's pretty much fine. But with kids, you do want to have that sort of framework in that they can respond to and kind of be confident existing within. And I think Cam's done a really good job of bringing that in.
Just a thought. Do you think an adaptation in this modern day world, the slaps and knuckles is the equivalent to like a bow?
Show respect, right? Yeah, that would make sense. It seems like a handshake or something as well, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Like, I fist bump generally now. I don't slaps and knuckles. I generally just go fist.
Just fist.
Yeah, just go straight for the knuckles.
Is that black belt efficiency?
I don't know, man. Actually, originally all the Hawke's Bay boys, so like all Sam Gray, like Bryce Gambiazzi from down there and stuff, like Rion, they all just fist bump. And so like I was just like, I always got so confused when they did it to me, and I'm like, actually, I think this is just faster. Something.
Efficiency.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, must be.
I go slap, and then like people will fist
Palm
bump.
them.
Other person does it.
Yeah. You just give him a high five.
Yeah, I go into the corner of the mat, I pull out a little sword, and I just fucking.
That's the power dominance thing. You're like, I'm the big man. Don't forget, I'm the big man.
Yeah, that reminds me of, before the match in MMA, something that I've observed and someone concluded for me, or like told me that's actually a strategy from the city kickboxing team up in Tamaki Machado. When they do the fist bump before the match, they always go on top to show first part of dominance, even before you start. Interesting. It's like a little
1% gains you can make across every
0.000 something. But
just
thinking about it, it does make sense, doesn't it?
Game too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't even touch hands. Like, I was like, nah, we're here to fight, man.
Bet on everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm just here to fight. Like if I'm doing MMA for sure, like I don't touch hands. No, thank you.
Talking about the gym culture and pouring so much into something that you like a plant that you water and nurture over time. Is it do you still let's talk about the demographics over time and development as far as it comes to starting the gym, and now you're like about to move into a bigger space. What has happened in between? But how difficult is it to find time for your own development, research development, whatever, to work on your jiu-jitsu and maybe get ready for competition or whatever else is out there, because when you take a kids class or even an adults class, you pour a lot into a lot of different cups. How do you find the balance there, and did you maybe struggle with it, or is there anything else that came up?
I think for me it's like an acknowledgement that whilst it is more challenging to find time, like I think it's pretty much objectively more challenging to find time for your own development when you're teaching like 12 hours a week, because especially Chop does a lot of, like he does the evening sets, so that's 2.5 hours a night. I personally do definitely have time to still work on my stuff. It's one of those ones where it's like the new place I'm hoping is going to facilitate that as well, because it will be more broadly accessible. We can jump in and just have a roll or drill and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be a lot easier to have that kind of culture of just, I've got a spare hour. Do you want to head down to Riverside and do some drills? Whereas now, with our current facility, whilst you can do it, it's just not really conducive to that.
Yeah. I tend to typically not teach anything I wouldn't use anyway. So like if I'm going to teach like a block, so we're doing like a guard passing block at the moment where we're trying to focusing on the outside, working our way into more like tighter guards. I will use that. So for me, like for the research element, like I generally, if I am planning like a block, I'll probably watch anywhere from like 2 to 8 hours of content in general, whether that be DVDs, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, that go into like each unit that I kind of plan. And in general, it's not like, it's just I need to make sure that things change real subtly, I think, at a really, really top level. So like the difference between like placing my hand like under my knee if I'm playing reverse de la Riva or having it open is like really, really important small details sometimes. So like I do a lot of research for those anyway, and I don't teach anything that I wouldn't use, if that makes sense. So I try not to get too lost in the Instagram voodoo, look at this cool move, which is applicable in like a 1 in a 10 million situation. If the partner is smaller than you, and they have a low IQ, and it's just like all of these things. Like I'm just like, I generally only teach things that I use myself and I can see myself using, or I see at like high level competition. So for the research part, it's not too hard. The time training is the hardest part for me, is finding time to train. But Saturdays are my main day to train. So I try and train. No, that's fine. Yeah, so like I try and train. And I have like a certain amount of rolls that I try and hit per week. So I'll be like, my aim is to roll 20 rounds per week. Drilling or other things as well, I'll probably just drill on a blue belt or a white belt as we're rolling in one of those rounds. Or if I've got a particular problem solving thing, I'll grab Paris or Charles Holman. He's one of our brown belts. He's pretty good. Like he's pretty... In general, like I've been training with Charlie since like he was a white belt, and he's got a very good like understanding of like a lot of leg lock stuff. So me and him do a little bit of stuff like that. Recently, we were working on some guard passing and back taking, me and him. So I grabbed him. Wayne's the other one as well. So Wayne trains with us as well. Wayne Burney.
Library of Alexandria.
Yes. Yeah, so like Wayne trains with us too. So we've got another black belt who's in our space as well, like on Mondays and Wednesdays and Saturdays. So having access to him to kind of talk through, and his is more troubleshooting for me. So I kind of use Paris and Wayne as kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. Like if I can, Wayne's a slightly smaller than Paris.
Slightly.
So yeah, Wayne's not
By
too
a
big.
factor of half.
Yeah, so like Wayne's pretty, like Wayne's on like the smaller, more technical scale, but he's very good and very technical. So it means that like whenever I'm working with him, I have to try and be technical around him. I can't just kind of work through him. And then Paris is on the other
basically
end.
the ogre that he brings in to see if he can actually apply his technique.
Yeah, so I use Paris as like my shit test to be like, does this work, or does this even half work? Can I even off balance him from here? Like use all those like harder ends of the scales. So I kind of use rolling with people more as my actual like training time, I guess. Yeah. And then there's some people in the gym that I just use to repetitively like drill stuff on.
Just hammer through it.
Well, the keyword that always comes back throughout the whole conversation, listening to you, listening to Paris, and I mentioned it myself, is time, you know? Like how much time can you allocate to yourself, to the gym, to your competition prep and whatever you want to achieve. However, you guys being so active in the local scene, competing, but how about on the international scale? What is there's one of the questions that came up when we put out the Q&A. Do you guys want to elaborate on that? Like, what is the key differences there? And maybe, of course, you know, the main question always is, what does it take, you know, to Australia, you know, to compete with the peeps over there, or maybe with other countries? And is that maybe also something apart from the local scene where you're very established that you're looking into, that you aspire to do? Maybe you can each individually talk on your long-term goals when it comes to competing.
I wouldn't call myself a particularly active competitor over the last year. I have been active prior to that, but this year's been a little bit, or quite a bit less active than maybe it should have been. My big goal for next year is to up my frequency of competition quite substantially. There is also trials in Australia next year that I would like to hit that. ADCC trials is like the prelude towards Worlds. So yeah, that would be sick. As far as like what it takes, I think you've got to have a good training room, a coach, or at least someone that you can, like Chop says, like bounce stuff off and take quite a bit of agency over your own training. But you do need those external points of view. Otherwise, you kind of exist within your own bubble, and then it's very easy for someone to come in from outside of that bubble and pop it. For me, like, leg locks were not a part of my game really until I started training here, because I'm giant. Someone gets on my legs, I typically just sprawl on them. But there are certain people like Chop who are near my weight, still pretty far away.
Yeah, close enough.
But near my weight, who will play that game. And then it's like, okay, can I just sprawl on him? Normally, yeah. But still, it's like, it's like, okay, this is a threat that I've not had to deal with much before. And you know, one of the top competitors, like Jared's another one. He loves bloody leg entanglements. So being able to deal with that is pretty important. So yeah, external, having people outside of your bubble, stimulus, cross training and going to different gyms. That would be a huge one. You know, it's very easy to be the biggest guy in your gym or the strongest guy in your gym.
Which you are.
We got a white belt now. Like Anthony's, like there's this lad called Anthony. He's a white belt, and I don't know. He's taller than me.
He's like 6'5".
Yeah, he's lighter than
115. He's a monster.
But yeah, he'll very quickly. You know, he's the rising phoenix.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, or most technical or most experienced. Those are not good things to be in terms of like, you don't want to be the most experienced guy in the room and all this sort of stuff. It makes growth something you have to put a hell of a lot more effort in to achieve, I find. Yeah,
like for me, like competing internationally is something that like I kind of did when I fought MMA and stuff, but then like jiu-jitsu for me, it was the cost to benefit wasn't really there. Like, I'm too old now. Like, my back just keeps giving out. So I have arthritis in my lower spine. So I've had it since I was like mid-20s, I think. So for me, competing used to be like manageable, and now like I just compete when I'm healthy. So I just train, and if there's a competition, my body feels good, and I'll compete. It's kind of the way I have to do it. Like I have to look at it from a longevity perspective. If I try and put in like a specific intense block of camp, I find that like the overload on my body, because I still run a full-time job as well as coach, and then try and train myself, and then like manage other life outside of that is real challenging. So
As we mentioned,
if I can just go, if I train again, if I do 20 rounds a week, blah blah blah, I might do like again, like I'm lucky I've got very good training partners like Paris. I can go, we're just having some hard rounds, and like we'll have a couple of hard rounds. Sweet, okay, I know roughly where I'm sitting in terms of like things like that. I can do some more technical rounds with Wayne, or like again other people. We can just really go in and do things, so I can really give myself a fair assessment of if I'm ready to compete or not, or even able to compete. So if I can't survive a round with Paris, I'm not competing. So like yeah, so for me that's like kind of a good litmus test if I'm ready to compete.
It's worth noting as well, like you don't play a game that's conducive to
like having a good back.
Yeah.
No, I don't. So I have at the moment, like, so I spent a long time just fighting for MMA, which was you grab someone, you put them on the ground, in the famous words of Toby Fitzpatrick, and then you stay on top and you finish them. And that was like basically from like blue belt, I think, all the way until I probably got my black belt. That's most of what I did. Was I was a top player. I got on top. I got on top of them, I passed their guard, and I kind of tried to get their back or mount. That was it. It was a really simple game plan, because that's all that you need for MMA, is you need to be able to put someone on their back, pin their hips to the mat, and then work to mount or back. That's it. Like, you don't really need too much else if you want to break it down to a really simple kind of perspective. So that's all I did for years, and then once I got my black belt, I was kind of like, fuck, I don't have a guard. Like, I don't have a single guard. So I spent the last... So I spent the last 2 years in particular focusing heavy on guard work and guard retention, and probably leg entanglements as a byproduct of that. So yeah, I think that's helped with my development, is actually just picking something I was bad at and just going for it. But I think in general, from a competitive element, it makes it a lot more, like, a lot better for me. I'm a lot more well-rounded than what I was. Yeah. Plus, it's fun.
Evolution.
Yeah. I think you've got to have something you want to continue to improve upon. I can't really answer the question about competition. I just realised that now. But yeah, I just compete when I'm healthy.
We got some good points out of it.
Yeah, compete when I'm healthy. And if I can survive around with Paris, like a local tournament's probably not going to be too hard in terms of fatigue on my body. Anyway.
Yeah, not many people weigh 135 kilos.
35.
Yeah, it was 130, and now again it's like, oh no, okay. I've got to admit it's there before I can get rid of it. You know, first stage of having a problem, that's accepting you have a problem.
You're addressing it. That's already, you're taking the right steps into the right direction. Yeah, where I was going with this is that competition usually creates more eyeballs, but you already have so many eyeballs on you in the gym, like the lower belt, so new people look up to you, and they want to see you doing good.
That's one I always find weird.
Yeah,
it's people looking up to us, especially Paris.
You're a teacher, bro. Isn't
that like, it's all day. People sit there and be like.
I think that's probably why I just don't even notice it. Like people.
It's normal to you now.
Yeah. Just a lot of eyes on me every day. I think.
Yeah. I think that there is a certain, but that circling back to the previous question about what you want to dismantle and stuff like that, like hierarchy is probably comes into that as well. Yeah. Having people look at you can be a good thing, but as I'm sure we're all aware, it can also be exploited, and there's plenty of stories in the martial arts community across the world of that happening, especially in like more traditional martial arts. It seems where that hierarchy is all the more prevalent, that can become problematic. But I think like there's no need for it. The person in front of you, you're paying for a service. You want that level of like familiarity. You can be friends, all this sort of stuff. What I don't think you need is, I'm going to bow to you when you come in. I'm going to, you're the man. I'm going to take life advice from you because you're teaching me to roll around on the floor
with other men.
Like, what's the big,
In spats.
Where does that? Yeah.
Yeah. What point does that just actually
only
come
spats
out?
As well?
Yeah, only spats.
Where does that give me the right to like pontificate life advice to you?
Yeah,
so I think that comes to it as well.
I still like what Danaher does though. Everyone he just sits on the corner, sits on this side of the mat, and everyone just shakes his hand. He doesn't move. He'll just sit there, give a speech at the end, and then he'll sit here like this. and then he'll be like,
bro, you're one flare up away from doing that.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah. Just sits on the edge and they just like all shake his hand as he walks up. That's crazy. Yeah.
Come to you.
Yeah, it doesn't move. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's funny. Yeah. That's the only one I think I'd want to include. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we now at this point, tease the transition for Riverside BJJ. Do you want to let's make it a proper announcement? What is with the growth of the gym and the flux of people and just over time, what is about to happen? What does that include, and what can people to look forward to?
Cool. I'll just say thanks to Paris before we do move forward. Paris has tanked a lot of the finding the new building, dealing with all our council consent, doing a lot of organising on behalf of multiple people. So it is a big thank you to Paris in terms of managing that. That is an absolutely pain in the ass administration expense on your mental health. So very much thank you. It saved me having to do it.
Dealing with the council, really.
Yeah.
That was the bit.
Yeah. So I think in general the big things we've got. I'll talk about it. Liza, which is Paris's partner, she's coming in to run a strength facility out of the front of our thing, so general weights, but with a particular focus on powerlifting. So Liza's a very good power lifter, very good programmer and coach in her own right, and so neither of us really wanted to run a gym, and we were
well, it's one. Yeah. So as far as the strength side of it goes, our goal was not to be a commercial gym where you sign up and there's 400 other people in the building and we don't know your name, all that sort of stuff. We still wanted that side of the gym, A, to service the people doing jiu-jitsu, B, to also further contribute to the community and the culture of the gym. So powerlifting is a community that Liza is already heavily involved in. So it made sense to kind of uproot and bring that across and provide a space where they could get together in Hamilton and where she could do her own training.
Yeah, for sure.
She's also recently worked with, done a week seminar, internship kind of thing, with Sebastian Oreb, the Australian strength coach, who was, or is, I'm going to butcher this, for Bjornsson? No, I can't say his name confidently. World's strongest man.
That's what we need to know.
The mountain in Game of Thrones as well. So she, picking his brain, he was teaching and all this sort of stuff. So she's got a real wealth of knowledge and experience for this space. And just like with our jiu-jitsu, what we prioritise and what she prioritises is a structured approach and a research-backed approach to training and development. So she was a good fit to port over.
Yeah, not she had an inside run, obviously. Yeah. Being Paris is fiance
now. It's
a
little bit.
I'm not saying just a slight inside track, but it's a really natural fit. Again, we don't want to expand out to be far too massive that no one knows no one. But Liza's very good at what she does. She's very passionate about it, and I think one of the things as well along with Cam too is that we all care about what we do, so it's very much you put people with passion in charge of what they're going to do, and generally it's going to work out because they care about their product, they care about what they're doing. I guess in the other part, so Cam, we've mentioned him, but Cam Cortier from Elemental Coaching is moving into the back as well, so we're going to have sauna, ice bath, breathwork available through him, which is cool. So he's running as a contractor out of our gym at the moment, will be running as a contractor out of the gym. Very much part of of what we are anyway. It was kind of another extra step was what do people feel they want or need, and we have a lot of guys in our community who already use saunas and ice baths and other things as well. And so it was kind of the next natural step for us was to see if he wanted to jump on board, and we're really thankful that he is. It's pretty cool.
Cameron and Nita also come with their own community of people, and they're very much community minded and all that sort of stuff. So again, I think the big one for us was making sure that the people we're kind of plugging into this space are, they want good culture and they want that kind of intersection. What we don't want is cliques, and I think we've picked the right people to add to our space.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really thought out. You're bringing different communities together to then be one, know?
We're really, again, I think we're quite lucky. I think the three kind of fit together really well. And just, the people I think are the main important parts. Like, you put people who care about what they do in charge of what they do. Like, it's really hard, I think, to manage multiple things if you're the person trying to do it yourself. Like, I don't think I could. I don't think Paris could. Like, we want people to have an even foot in the, like, an even seat at the table as well. Like, if Cam's like, hey, listen, actually, I think I want to do this, like, he's got the ability to actually approach us and talk about it. Same with Liza, and same with like us as well. So it's quite good.
Before I lose my thought, I need to say that it's interesting that you both come from a bigger gym, who does like all the other areas as well, as far as it comes to recovery, strength and conditioning. The list goes on and on. Then you focused on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And now, because evolution, is flourishing into all these different communities, you have like a bigger space. You're gonna have recovery in there. You're gonna have all the strength work, and I'm sure that will then evolve into something else also. But something that I wanted to touch base on is with the pure jiu-jitsu. So we go from jiu-jitsu, bigger space, which that was the announcement, to back to jiu-jitsu, because you've got so much experience as a kayako, as a teacher. Also with your sports science background, and then Paris is we talked about this off camera before we started, method orientated. Like, you want the best for your students,
I probably should have said I also have my degrees in sports coaching and development.
Thank you, Alex.
Leave that until
just quite casual.
Sprinkle that in. So when you come together to look at the year or a block, we talk about blocks, guard passing, or whatever it might be. You have like a proper meeting, have like a couple of coffees, and be like, all right, let's plan out this year. What do we want to do? How does it look like in terms of those planning blocks? Because you want the best for your students, to give them the lifelong learning that they want, and keeping them interested, stimulated, and happy.
So we kind of like we don't really have a year plan in terms of like we do this guard passing into half guard into this. Like, we more have like a general thing of like, we need to cover all these areas, and then based off how the current block worked or went, we will then kind of go, where do you see holes in people's game across the mat? Where do you think that is there something we haven't covered for a while? And then we kind of do it in regards a little bit more organically that way.
I think it's just a process of continuous assessment. Really, that's what's informing it, right? If you put out the whole block in 1 year, you can't pivot without sacrificing certain elements of it. Whereas if you can, if you're looking at your students and it's student driven, you have the ability to be like, oh no, okay, I can see this fundamental aspect is falling behind. Let's move into that, and we can uplift that.
And I think like that continual assessment of your students is really, really important. Like, you shouldn't really ever not kind of know people's like strengths and weaknesses as a coach. Like, your job is to help them get better, I think, fundamentally. Like, again, like my kind of opinions on that are like, if they can like find new experiences, so novel experiences, and they can enjoy themselves in training, that kind of naturally occurs because they're going to like adhere more. But the constant assessment of like, I know this person's really good at this and this person's really good at this. So it's like things like that for me are really are the foundations of what we work from. And then when we're kind of planning a block, like I kind of take all the night classes at the moment, so there's not too much interaction between me and Paris for planning.
There was at one point though.
At one point when Paris was taking like the Thursday night and I was taking Monday, Wednesday, we had a big overlap because we kind of were teaching the same thing. But in general, like I have an idea of like what I want to do for 4 to 6 weeks. We have a conversation saying, what are you seeing? What am I seeing? Because Paris trains in the night classes as well. So he sees people and sees like how they're going and developing and everything too. So we'll see that. Cool, what do you need to do? I reckon this. Cool, sweet as. What do you think about this kind of overall structure? And then it's kind of left up to me to kind of then fill in the blanks of like what we're doing. So for this guard passing structure or guard passing block that we're doing now, my aim is to work out and then work in, and it's not so much about like spending a lot of time in each position, but more about how, like, if you think about like a spider web or like a classic mind map, you've got your circle in the middle and then you've got your like things on the outside, and so like complete like I'm getting a little bit lost into
No,
this.
I can.
So,
Should
yeah,
I take
so,
this
like,
from you?
Yeah,
Just for a
yeah,
second?
okay. You go, because I've got like, I don't know how I need to explain
No,
this
no,
without
I
just going
got
too
you.
far into the source of what I actually think about when I actually do plan.
I absolutely got you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna sum it up. It's important to have a plan,
Yeah.
but it's also important to be spontaneous
Yes.
and adapt on the spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can have an influx of new students.
Yeah.
And that's a really disruptive thing for that.
You have
Yeah.
to accommodate that. Give you an example. From what I've heard, overseen recently in a different space was. A bunch of rugby players came in and they wanted to learn, hand manipulation, body manipulation, just for their game. Wanted to take something from there, take it to their own. And then all of a sudden, you have to facilitate that. You have like 10, 15 people that are enormously strong, have like a good body awareness, but actually don't know what they're doing in a sense of jiu-jitsu. So, with that, and where Chop was going with this, with the spider web, it's funny. I had to laugh straight away because years ago we were sitting on the mat. Do you remember this situation?
The conversation, yeah.
And I don't know if you. I think that was when you just got your black belt, and you were explaining to me, like, I was like, "What's your thought process here?" We're talking about a position, and then you gave me this rundown of the spider web, and I don't know where I was at that point, but I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
You know how each position, it's basically how each position connects to, okay, I've got half guard here, my options are X, Y, Z, P, D, bam, bam, bam.
He's explaining it well, that's good.
Then from whatever situation I shoot off here, I then have options X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. So it's basically, it's then becoming a web within the web within the web.
Yeah.
So it goes from just 1D to 2D to 3D because there's so many, that it becomes like a matrix that lives within the room.
Yeah.
It's a bit like string theory if you think about it.
Yeah. So like, so for this like current block, it was like guard passing is the thing, but like we have our loose passing and our tight passing. So like inside of the guard passing realm, we've got loose and tight passing, and then again you've got all these little dots in between. And so the less is like we did just do a block on like half guard, which was 6 weeks focused on passing the half guard because it's very important to pass half guard. Like I think that's probably the key position to be able to get to in passing if I can force half guard in general. So and then so now I'm kind of doing the bigger parts, and again like how they start to link to each other I think is sometimes more important than if you get into, let's say like knee shield for example, 10 different ways to pass the knee shield. It's like actually if I can just have one that I'm really good at but then transfer off to this other position that I don't have to deal with the knee shield. And
you have a spider web just for the knee shield pass.
Yeah, so so Joseph Chen has talked about this not recently, but like on a podcast I listened to with him on BJJ mental models, and he talks about like he got this idea from Robert Benecki, which is like you've got your bigger circles, spider webs, and then you can then either zoom out to do more global stuff, which is like how the bigger pieces fit together, or then you can zoom in and have like these really small circles where you again spend like maybe 2 weeks just focused on the grip fighting and half guard or something like that. So like it depends on like your time and the learning, but for me this block we've just done a really big half guard block, and then we've done a really big leg entanglement block, and we have a lot of guys who are really good at passing guards in particular ways. So the inception kind of came of like, actually they're really good at passing the guard in these positions, but they don't really see how the kind of pieces all fit together. And we had a few new people come in as well, so they might not have even seen a lot of these guard passing positions. So it's kind of got a dual purpose of linking all the positions together for people who have, like Taylor's got a really good knee cut, for example, like how we can then get him to use it with like his headquarters passing or something. New guys being able to see all the positions early, which is good, and then the guys who have seen all of them, who are in that 1 to 2 years kind of situation, now can start to pull all the kind of like things together.
Stop for a second, please. As a new person at Riverside BJJ, how much of all of what you just listened to makes sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. It's going into that space, what you just said there, they're in there, like getting a chance to experiment all the new different angles. I've never done leg entanglements.
Yeah.
Till I started working in that, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never done any of this.
Yeah.
But I feel like, now I've learned a bit of there, learned a bit there, I can now trying to string it all together.
Yeah.
But also the difference in minds to how he summed it all up, even if it was just very brief.
Spider webs
to half guard, my leg needs to be there.
I can understand. I'm like, I know that's like there. I'm so not close to that because I'm just barely one position. That's what I'm trying to focus on.
So this is the other thing as well, like when we are designing units, is like we have to look at like people in the door or how much they're coming in. Like Tim's never done like a lot of leg entanglements before, like it's probably a bit modest from him, but like actually what's the key that I need to get everyone to? And like I said, I'm quite lucky that I really only teach things that I know work at a high level, or I use myself in competition. Yes. So like I'm not selling people wolf tickets by being like, we're doing this random like thing over here, like we know it works. Minari roll. Yeah, I did do a week on Minari rolls and false reaps. Okay, that didn't count, and that was clearly labeled as
it was probably better than that than I was. For me, that was a rough week.
So like, but like you also got to throw in these higher order skills every now and again, which help people like use. But so for that leg entanglement unit, our whole focus was we're going to use single leg X as the main staging point, and everything will go back to that at some point. And that I think helps people who are newer into leg entanglements, because like as long as I know this, I know the two common problems or issues from here. Like I quite like Dan. Actually, Dan's probably the best way. Like he is a very good coach in terms of and conceptually how he thinks about jiu-jitsu in general. And he always has this concept of like, when I'm rolling with someone, I want to give them door A or door B. You get to pick. Neither are good for you. Yeah, you pick door A, which sucks, or you pick door B, which is potentially worse for you. Like you have to pick that, and so it's about like giving people those options, which aren't really options, which I think is like I'm pretty sure that's what Hickson talks about. Like we talked about invisible jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's like I'm on side control and I have this grip or this grip. It's like you can pick. You can go do this or do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm forcing a reaction out of them that I know is going to happen. You know, like
it's only invisible because the person on the receiving end of it might not be aware of all the follow-ons, right? Yeah. But if you're rolling with someone who you're at the same level at, it no longer becomes invisible, it becomes a race.
Very visible. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I know he's got A, B, C, D, E, F. Can I reach my next one before he gets to the end of his chain? It's quite an interesting interval.
What's also cool about the Minari roll, we all had a giggle, and then just I'm using that as an example for, you know, even with the coaching, and you go through those blocks and you want to achieve your goals with, you know, the majority of the room needs to be able to pass a half guard in a certain way. But break it up, make it fun, you know, let the people roll around on their shoulders a little bit and figure this out, and, you know, just break up the monotonous of, you are there, you know, for the community to have a giggle, you might have shit there, list goes on and on and on, and yes, we care about jiu-jitsu, but you know,
there's also just cool stuff in jiu-jitsu, man. Like, it's nice doing like, this sport's pretty bad. Like, it's pretty sick. And like,
there is some definite cool stuff.
And listening to you being like, oh, Minari, that was probably not the best one for me, you know, for your body type, whatever, you know. Is there anything? There are questions for both of you. Is there anything in your recent-ish, let's say that the last 1 to 3 months, going back in time, something that you re-evaluated, concluded, or changed in your jiu-jitsu?
I just gave up on guard.
That's the opposite.
You gave up on guard
and I adopted guard. Oh, how funny.
Well, basically I was just like, this fucking sucks, I'm going to wrestle up. But no, it was more just like, and don't get me wrong, like, it's one of those areas that I'm going to pivot back to, just like Chop said, where it's like an area he wasn't good at, he reevaluated and he uplifted that area. For me, wrestling is kind of where I'm at with that. I'm kind of with that same mindset. And it started with, I was teaching a wrestle up unit, and I was like, man, single legs absolutely everywhere. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And it kind of changed my game quite substantially, where now instead of looking to fall to my back and perhaps invert or perhaps play those sorts of games, now I'm like, if I can build hip height, if I can get my hips to their level or above them, I can actually start initiating scrambles and getting turnovers and getting pins. So it kind of changed my priority of almost like an MMA perspective, where it's like, I don't want to be on bottom. Like, and it's probably not that shocking coming from a 130 kilo guy. Top position, Kimura, you know?
Punch choke.
Yeah, punch choke. The dumbest knee head moves ever.
Yeah,
but
it worked, man.
Yeah, for me, like, refocusing on that element of grappling, and then taking that all the way through up to the standing, and just reaching all that low-hanging fruit of like, this is how we grip, this is how we frame, this is our posture. So I'm kind of in a different space where I would say Chop has moved more into those small circles, whereas I'm still very much like, I've zoomed out and now I'm on the big circle of how not to wrestle like a moron. So
Quick, that's just a side question. Is the punch choke the Ezekiel with the fist?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense for when you have
I take the piss out of some stuff that like
I did get you with it though.
Yeah, he does get you with it. Like that Paris does. Like but what Paris has talked about like that, like being the top player is obviously predominantly better. The higher weight class you get, I think that's kind of it. Like the guard is a little person thing, I think. And you see major people, like I think it's plus 88. Basically, once you get past 88 at the ADCC, it's the top player wins. Very few guard players at plus 99 or even at 99. They all wrestle and they all try and get on top. Mm-hmm. So like if you're that weight, I think it's a really good example and good idea.
Well, then pick and choose. What's your pick?
Yeah, so mine is the opposite. Mine has been guard. Like I said earlier on, like for me, playing guard, I think, and again, like Dan Vandenberg was talking about it one day, and he was like, the guard is the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu. Like that is what separates it from every other sport, is the fact that we are able to play guard and we're able to use our feet and our legs to really like help us in this sport. You know, wrestling, like you think about it, like your legs are there as like pistons to punch the other person out of the circle, basically. That's used. They're not used as tools to engage your opponent. Judo is the same thing. Like they're not used as tools to help you finish a fight. And like that is what jiu-jitsu is about. Is the guard is the beautiful thing about it that allows us to be different from other sports, and it kind of made me want to start doing a lot of guard when he had that conversation with me. So over the last few years in particular, I focused heavily on guard, and then even if you look at recent, like CJI is a good example. I think if given the right rule setting context, guard can be very boring and very crap to watch. Or it can be really, really exciting when you get guys who are beautiful guard players. Especially
when they run into the opposite end of that spectrum where the person's a really aggressive
top. Yeah, like, and I think that like if you watch Levi and Cade in the top of the CJI, like Levi throughout that whole tournament, like phenomenal, like one of, like if not the best, one of the best no-gi guard players in the world. Like, and he's got a real interesting story. I think like he comes from like Australia originally, but then trained, I think it was at Unity with Marilio Santana and all of the Miao brothers. And so he's got like an insane guard from being in the gi, won a gi world championship his first year as a black belt, I think, or maybe his second year. And then he's moved back to Australia and he works with Lachlan Giles, who arguably is one of the greatest runs in ADCC of leg locks in history. Like leg lock, three giants in a row, to get a bronze at like ADCC. The Giant Slayer. So like he's moved back there and his guard looks absolutely amazing. So for me, like the guard has been like, and I say the guard like in general, like, but I've had particular focuses. So K-guard was a focus for a while. My reverse De La Riva is probably my main focus at the moment from my guard. How I can use that to set up counters to knee cuts and stuff. Like what I need to do to set up different leg entanglements and whatnot.
Tim's like, what?
Yeah. So like reverse De La Riva is like my main.
This is why you just want to wrestle, bro.
Probably my main focus at the moment. I think that.
Well, it's lifelong learning after all, you know. Like there's always something that you can pick up on. You can dive deep into. It's like that spider web. You know, you might be good at something there, but there's always another spring.
Yeah, there's always something where you're never good.
I liken it to spinning plates. Like you've got 5 plates. You focus on this one, the other one starts to wobble. Oh shit, better pick that one up. And it never stops, which is cool, but also kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think that's like a good point to bring on though. Like, is like to be a good competitor, you don't need to have 42 plates you're spinning. You just need to be really, really good at one thing. And me and Paris joke about it all the time, like saying he just Kimura's people from like top side control. But I'm like, there's what else? What else do you need to do if you do that really, really well? Like, and especially at like at a high level, like
weight as well.
If you watch the plus 99s and like the ADCC, like there's very few guys who are like predominantly guard players in that. Like Gordon can play guard, but even he chooses not to, and he's arguably got the best guard in the world. So like he chooses not to play at plus 99. There's got to be a reason for that. And then
the risk reward of playing guard, especially when you're against people who are so typically more predisposed towards passing and heavy pressure.
Yeah.
Like if you make a mistake, they're past, their pressure's on.
Yeah.
If they make a mistake, maybe you start getting a bite on them, maybe you can pull in, or maybe it turns it into a scramble, they back off and then you're back in the same position.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I find top position for me is, it leans towards more like risk management and stuff as well. From a strategic standpoint.
So like, and Paris is really good in the gym. He doesn't play top. Like he genuinely sits to guard most of the time. He's like playing against, unless they're already sitting. So I think we're both quite have that kind of mentality as like against everyone else in the gym. Yeah. Well,
my first when I was coming up through my white and blue and even purple back at my first gym, which was in the UK, so now Gym 01. One of my primary training partners was a guy called Dave, and he was about 65, 70 kilos, and I was 17, 18, through to like 19 when I was training with him, and I was still way bigger than him. But that kind of informed, like, I used to be a real guard player. Up until purple belt, like, I was probably doing, not necessarily leg stuff, and it was also gi, so it was like spider guard and lasso guard. And bolos, all that sort of stuff. And it was only really as I pushed through to the top end of purple and brown that I started changing my priority as to how I roll. And I kept getting heavier.
That's a good prompt. Let's talk about the different belts, because evaluation or grading, whatever you want to call it, however you want to look at it, because every gym does it a little bit differently. But we had a conversation just prior to when we started, and Tim brought up something that probably needs to be discussed, or is like something interesting that we can dabble into, just like very short and very sweet. So I'm gonna go backwards and forwards, and I only want one word for this. So as a black belt, you need to be able to be very efficient and sum things up for people and give them the nutshell. Just there's your ticket.
Here's your ticket. Yeah, for some.
Here's your ticket. All right, just in one word, and just whatever comes to mind straight away, just throw it out there. We're gonna start with Chop. One word. What does blue belt mean?
Oh, I can't do it in one.
Do one word.
Two.
I know. Okay,
words.
do 2 words.
Yeah, like base knowledge.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll do 2. Base knowledge is like my thing.
You get away with that. We put a hyphen in between.
Yeah.
Paris. Purple.
Threatening.
Threatening.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that. Tim,
Yeah.
do you agree?
For purple?
You feel threatened by purple belt?
I feel threatened by everyone. Everyone's bigger than me in this sport.
It's the kids class. That's why I trained in the kids class. It's a strategy.
Come on,
you're
Luca,
the
let's
biggest
go
guy.
with me.
Yeah, you're
I'm the biggest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Chop brown.
Yeah, like well-rounded, I think.
Oh, he does the hyphen again.
Yeah.
Well-rounded.
That's the same thing. That's 2 words.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you get the mighty black one.
I get the white belt.
Nice.
Fuck me, man. I don't know.
God. You got
That was the first word that popped into my head.
So funny.
I don't have one word for it, man. Chop, what would you say?
God.
Nah.
No, you can't do back. This is yours.
That's a piss.
I need
take.
help.
No way.
This is, okay. Your joker
phone a
is,
friend.
Tim, what does a black belt mean to you? One word.
Rule maker.
Oh, fuck me. I wouldn't say anything quite so cool as that.
Yeah.
That makes me sound like a gangster.
All right, why?
Master Chief, man.
Why you have the mic, Tim? Because that was actually your question. I just evolved around it. Talk about the tabs.
Yeah, so this discussion came up around time where I think Ben was going for grading, getting the tabs, and we discussed it's from white belt to blue belt, you got 4 tabs. But it's not very common to see blue or purple or browns get tabs at all. It's just that first season, and then it's just big chunks at a time.
Yeah.
Kind of thought we like that little I've got a tab, cool, let's get next tab. 2 more tabs, here we go, stick. You know what to expect, little progress markers. What's your thoughts on that?
So, me and Job have talked about this fairly extensively. I would say my attitude is kind of cuntish. But my idea is, if you get to blue and you still need tabs to get you to purple, that's as far as you're getting.
Yeah, right.
You're never getting further than that. So, for me, once you get blue, that's you being like, I take this seriously, I'm in this, I want to keep learning. I'm going to, devote time, energy, effort to this over the long period of time.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, as a coach, I'm definitely there to give you that positive reinforcement during classes. But jiu-jitsu should be an intrinsically rewarding thing. So
agreed. Yeah, I kind of agree with Paris on this. Like, I know certain clubs go like, here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to your brown sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and even when you're a brown belt, they tab you up. And I think like there's something to that in terms of adherence, but again, like I talked about, like I want to make like training fun for people, like, and the other thing, like my secondary like directive behind that is I want people to care about jiu-jitsu like I do. And I think if you get to a blue belt and you're like, oh, I'm waiting for my next tab, we probably haven't done a good enough job of fostering in you that as a student is the actual general love of the sport, and that's something sometimes that we can't foster ourselves, but like we're going to do everything that we can to make you care about the sport. And I think like if we do our job properly in terms of like giving you quality jiu-jitsu, giving you new experiences, like pushing the boundaries, making sure you're training hard, making you accountable, and doing a bunch of other things as well, like we should instill that, like I genuinely care about this sport, and that's what we want from people, is that like there's no point in making a bunch of like elite killers if they're just tools. And they don't like the sport and they're going to do nothing for the sport. I want people to care about it, maybe not like I care about it, like, but like to a certain thing that they really hold it close to themselves. And again, I think if people are holding out to go, I'm getting a tab on my blue belt or purple or whatever, and that's their measure of care for the sport, I think we haven't done our job properly of going, you actually care about this, like this is important to you, it's important to me, and let's work together moving forward. Like that's kind of my opinion on it as well.
Would you say it's like white belt, yeah, maybe you need to make it a bit more fun, blue belt, alright cool, now you gotta learn delayed gratification? Yeah,
I think so. Like that delayed gratification is like definitely present in jiu-jitsu, and especially when you're a white belt. Like you walk in the door and your first year is generally just you copying high.
You need something to offset just getting hammered
so
every session.
Like, the good thing about like being a white belt, it is very rewarding in regards to like you do get a lot of like smaller wins really, really quickly. Oh, I know what this position is. That becomes a success criteria, right?
Yeah.
And then that hedonic treadmill of like, I don't get excited about knowing what a move is anymore. I get excited about hitting it repeatedly or about doing this thing. So like naturally that kind of starts to
you do need to frame that for people though, I find, because like white belts, you know, it's cliche, but it's the hardest belt because you are just getting smashed. You don't have the context, you don't understand it, nothing makes sense. So as a coach, obviously you put the frameworks in, you make it make sense, you help them, but it's also about framing success as so you identify this position, cool. Then, you can hit this position. Did you get subbed at the end of the round? That's fine. Did you manage to move to half guard with an e-shield? Like, that's your success criteria.
Yeah, you have to, like, a lot of jiu-jitsu athletes in particular get really upset around, like, I didn't win this tournament or I didn't do this. It's actually around, like, that delayed gratification or, like, me improving my skills, which is really, really hard in a skill-based sport like jiu-jitsu, because again, like Paris said, you can only spin so many plates. Like I might do a really good job of learning this part and then I go to apply it in rolling and the person's better than me, so they never even let me get to half guard to practice the passing that I've done. So like there's a lot of things like that happen in jiu-jitsu as well, as like you're like, man, I've just done really good, I start in half guard and I pass people's half guard. Then you go against someone and they don't even let you get to half guard and you're like, oh fuck, like this is what sucks again. So like that like getting people to reframe what they consider winning and enjoying the training. And I think that's it. Like if you've got good community and good people you train with, like training's always fun. So those wins or losses come from you just talking shit with your mate sometimes. You're like, you can't pass my guard, you suck. Yeah. And then Paris smashes me into the mat for 5 minutes. But
I'm surprised you've not brought up your
my what?
Biggest claim to fame yet.
What's that?
I'm not going to say it for you.
Oh, you're not going to say it? Oh, okay. All right.
So you're putting yourself in shame.
I like.
May have been involved in that one.
Yeah, I like to think that I kept Paris on the straight and narrow, and that he didn't expand too far beyond to have that God mentality as a black belt. So I'm 1-0 against Paris in competition, and if I wasn't,
20,000 in the mat loop.
It doesn't matter. Where it counts out on the mats in the competition scene, I'm 1-0 against Paris.
Yeah.
And I bring it up just maybe once. I don't know, not very often.
Twice every class.
Yeah, twice a class. Just to make sure that he realizes that like there's levels to this game, and I can't have his ego expanding beyond what it is. Otherwise, he'll get into that narcissistic like head coach mentality that we've talked about, which we don't really want, you know.
Yeah.
So I've saved him from the dark side, is what I like.
You're welcome, Paris.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's just a little.
Let's talk about the top level for a second. Let's call this category the top tier plate spinners. You know, the cream of the crop, the people that do it the best. They usually compete at the biggest, best promotions, which ADCC, for example, or CJI, which, you know, we thought would be worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's different formats. There's a bit more history on the one side. The other side brings a bit more entertainment to it now. Bit of controversy. However, the question that I actually wanted to ask here is, start with a prompt. So word on the street is that a similar format to CGI, people who haven't seen it need to look it up, it's like a pit format where you compete two grapplers against each other, is coming to New Zealand.
I mean, I wasn't aware of that.
How can you not be aware of that? So apparently that's the word on the street. It's coming to New Zealand. Question would be, with the competitive nature that you both present and the goals that we, you know, tapped into throughout the conversation, would that be something that you would consider, yet you also have to consider with the CJI when it comes to New Zealand, and you know, you got to show a bit of your character, and I don't know, you got to maybe, you know, the good old Craig Jones, you know, pull off the shorts and got some speedos underneath, you know. Would you do it, considering that might be something that, like, you need to show some parts of your personality that you might want to hide away at times?
For me, it's all like authenticity. I think that is kind of Craig.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and either he is maybe he is hamming up to a degree, but he does genuinely seem just like a loose, fun guy.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, there's not really any circumstances where I would do that.
Apart from the bedroom.
Yeah, maybe that. But yeah, like I could maybe do that in the.
But maybe they bring you in as, like, let's say your character would be you, the Undertaker. You come in, staunch ass, step on the mat.
It's not authentic to me though. Like, I could, if you want me there to compete and I want to put on a good show and I want to make it entertaining as far as the match goes, fuck yeah, I'm all about it. But if I need to behave a certain way and all this sort of stuff, it's probably not for me.
I reckon Ultimate Warrior from back in the day would get you some like hivers and some paint sticks.
I want to dress up like a Thundercat.
Yeah, I think that's it actually. I think that would be the best outfit for him. Yeah. Me, I don't know. Like I'm not really one for big social media in general. Like, so like then having to perform before I do a match, probably not. But I did used to play water polo in high school, so I am used to wearing speedos.
Speedos?
Yeah, so
we can bring those back?
I don't know if I'd compete in them.
No, just need a flash for a second.
Make sure it's a warm room. Like, obviously. that's the only key. Like, yeah, come on, I don't want to do my family, like, hide my family shame like that, you know? Like, yeah. That would be the only time, I think. If it was a warm room, I might get away with it.
But, I mean...
I'd love to compete in the pit, though. I think that would be cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's where I was trying to get to. You know, it's just a bit of... Would you be... Because it's entertainment.
Yeah,
if you look at the ADCC and the tradition and what has been created, that's awesome, you know. There's a lot of prestige, but what they're doing in the modern day and age with CGI, for example, is they bring entertainment to the table.
Yeah.
It's good for the athletes, you know, it's good for the people involved because they can actually make a living, therefore the sport grows.
Yeah, I think CGI did a really good job of like highlighting the points of like what were the issues for the athletes. Like they weren't getting paid enough. They there was a couple of issues with the rules in general that they kind of tried to fix with the wall and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, the main one was that like they got the people who are bringing the eyes to the sport like paid and like a massive amount of money. It was really good to see. Yeah. I'd love to compete in the pit though. I think that'd be fun.
Sick.
Yeah, dude, like it's like wall wrestling.
I want to slam.
But easy.
I've still never slammed anyone.
Hey?
Oh,
car?
Yeah, I just want to know what it's like. Jiu-jitsu is such a
I can't imagine that.
Bro, what is with these niche ones? There's one with a tire where you got to stuff them into this. That's just training bullies. Like,
yeah,
pretty sure, yeah,
that'd be interesting. Yeah, starting a locker room, your winners by putting other people. yeah, that'd be funny.
Alright, I put that towards the promoters there.
We'll get
So you guys be available? Maybe for tag teaming?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, get some lockers.
Sweet, that's good to know. We're at a point now where you can choose if we should dabble into something that you guys feel like there's an importance to, you know, certain topics or like subjects that we haven't covered throughout the whole conversation. Anything that you want to latch onto, like maybe the ADCC or whatever it is, the whole versus CJI, or if you want to, that's usually the option that I give as well, as you can spit back a question towards me or towards Tim, you know, to be like, oh, what do you feel about this topic or something that we covered today? So I leave it up to you guys to pick and choose before we wrap it up. This is going to be the last big hooray.
want to talk about?
I need you to help me out, bro.
Yeah, was there anything that you wanted to talk about that wasn't kind of discussed?
No, I think we covered everything as far as jiu-jitsu.
I think we've done pretty well, eh?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, like I think probably just for us, like we'd just be finishing off just saying that like what we just really care about jiu-jitsu. Like that's our main focus.
Well, if you haven't gotten that out of the conversation by now, then I don't know.
I think that's it. Like we just like we want people to enjoy the sport. We want people to do the sport with us, and we just want them to care about it. Like we care about it. Like I think that's it.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we offer like the best quality product. Yeah, and well, I think we're quite lucky now. Like that's transferring into like competition results as well. So
For
like
the team as well.
for the team too. Like so, me and Paris obviously active competitors. I think we're the only team in the Waikato that has black belts competing. So like it's like a pretty good sign for us is that we have people at the top level competing. And again, Paris has fought on like invitational shows. He's gone to the trials before. He's done all these other things. Like we have guys at that top level.
But what was his record against you again?
It's 1-0. Yeah. So he doesn't want to match against me.
You can
yet.
say this because his back's currently like exploded. He's got some lead time before I ruin
Like
his life.
the only reason I can get away with giving him that much grief is the fact that he hammers me every well. Like it's not like it's not actually. Yeah.
It's good to have that little thorn.
Can I just say
It's just
it was on
particular.
points? Didn't submit.
Winning is winning.
Is it? Ask Wayne.
You're
Wayne's
falling
on
out of favour here when you come to
Yeah.
class.
yeah, but he does
Yeah,
no
no,
classes
no.
as well, man. So
Yeah.
he knows who he needs to pander to.
Yeah.
Hey, like I will say that I won under the rule set. I think it was like 8-2. Like was the official score.
I definitely took
But-
it back and didn't get points for it. I'll just say that as well.
So I think that the final result was 8-2. So at the end of the day, I at least scored four times the amount of points you did too. I don't know if this is sounding good for you or not right now, but yeah, I didn't tap you. You are correct.
I mean, I'm pretty happy that, we all concluded and agreed on that. We covered everything and it was well spread, across. So if there's no question from you guys, I'm going to give it up to Tim.
Yeah, I guess maybe a question for you. All right. If you had to pick like one type of guard that you could play for the rest of your life, what is it? And why would you pick that guard? This is a really jiu-jitsu heavy question. And then I've got another question for you after that as well.
Man, I don't know. One guard for the rest of my life to play with.
They'll tell me a lot about
quite
who you
like
are as a
Guy, don't
person. Yeah, you can say geese, you can say like Lelievre and stuff,
Spider,
spider guard.
No,
All those guards.
The question caught me off guard, I can tell you that much.
Okay, I've got another question.
No, I can answer that for you. Like, I say guard.
Like close guard?
Close guard.
Yeah, nice, good.
Shout. Good.
Yeah.
Close guard, because
Fundamental.
I don't know. And to give you a very short explanation is, I don't know, maybe it's my personal philosophy. I feel like doing the basic things to the best of your abilities,
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, good call.
takes you
Yeah,
a long
nice,
way.
that's good. Sweet.
That's my...
Yeah.
You got a question for me?
No.
I don't. I know one guy.
Fine, sweet.
Yeah,
All
no, that's fine. Yeah.
right, do the other one and then we wrap it up.
When are you coming down to beat Tim up? so that was my other question. Yeah, Tim and Ben, like you're the higher belt compared to them, and you got to come down and give them a hiding.
We train together all the time.
Yeah, you got but like come down to Riverside.
He wants to see it. He wants to see it.
I want to see like the bloodbath you put on Ben and Tim. Like,
I
that's
never
what I wanna
have.
see.
I guess we need to invite you down.
Yeah,
Never
doors
have.
open. Like, I
Well, we
just want to
have
see.
trained, but not a
Ben's
bloodbath.
getting a bit like he's on a one stripe now, so he's getting his ego's getting up there. So you're gonna have to come down and just push him into the mat.
We recently we had a lot of matches here, but yeah, if that's my invitation
That's
to come down.
100% doors always open.
I'm
Yeah,
happy.
and that to anyone else as well. Like he's doing it. Yeah, but yeah, your question. All right, you don't have a question. You
No, I have a
for us?
question.
Ah, okay.
I thought
We're good to go. Well, then you can come in, please.
The guy you don't see very often, kia ora, Tim Stevens. I run a business, Adapt Media, provide photo and video services to brands across the country, ideally in the Waikato and Coromandel region. So if you've got a team and you're looking to create content for yourself, but more so if you maybe have people in your business who need a bit of direction and coaching, that's an avenue I'm moving into now. Rather than offering you lots of video services created by me, let's get someone in your business who just needs to, a few extra skills to be able to be there 24/7 to create the content for you.
The curtains are, if you want to give a shout out, a plug, whatever, hug each other after the, competition, debate. It's up
It's
to
not a
you.
debate, I want to know. But we do want to say a big shout out to Cam Cortier from Elemental Coaching, Liza Druce from Riverside Strength Club, and what's her official? That's her official. That's her official handle on Instagram as well. So if you give her a follow, she's available for online coaching and stuff as well. They're going to be moving in to support like the Riverside community coming up. I'm really excited. I think that's it. Yeah, and thank you very much for having us on.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Tim, for setting up all this, and again, Mr. HOKA himself. Yeah.
No, yeah, very much the same. It's been fun. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so you guys made it a real easy, welcoming experience.
Was it a positive experience?
Yeah,
Good. It's good, man.
Sweet, that's what we want. Cool.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.